everybody, welcome to another great episode of Disabilities Redefined with Dr. Wagner and our great and gorgeous, glamorous co-host, Tamara Morgan. Hello, Tamara.
Hi,
yes, yes, and you are very much in the Christmas spirit with you got sparkly pinks, and not only that, but show everybody.
Oh, my nails. Yeah, this sounds a bit better.
Well, it looks beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so anyway, what we're going to do today is we are going to introduce a fashion show which happened about 6 months ago, right?
I know. I can't believe it's been that long.
It has been a while, but it's great. It was great. It was a great night. And we had beauty queens and fashion models and a group with us. And then we had a party, a birthday party. Yes, I turned 50.
Yeah.
But it was a great night. And what was so great about that night was was just the overall camaraderie of everybody there. You know, we had, what was the theme tomorrow? Was Shakespeare's Garden or something like that? Yeah, so it was mostly about the headwear, the hats that a friend of ours had put together. But anyway, let's show it and we will be right back. And I do want to say a big shout out to, now, what was it? The Miss Amazing contest, which I think is a national, I think it's national, isn't it? Or is it just right here in New York?
It might be national.
It might be. But quite a few of the young ladies in this fashion show were from the Miss Amazing Network. Absolutely. So here you go. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you, Tamara.
Thank you.
It was a great night.
We
should have another show. Yeah, we should have another one soon. And,
I would love to.
We're actually putting together our photo exhibition.
We are.
Absolutely, featuring amputees, entitled "Nothing Is Missing: Models, Athletes in Hollywood," and we have some of the tall Jalisa Graham, top model. She's doing amazing work out there.
Fantastic.
She just was on the runway here in New York City. She's doing things, I believe, with Tommy Hilfiger.
Yes.
She's everywhere. So we are so
everywhere.
happy.
I saw Jalisa outside of my workplace just a few weeks ago.
Yes.
A few weeks ago.
And you all put it to you were
yes,
talking.
it is like Jalisa.
Yeah. Well, we actually have the photo exhibition. She's actually one of our models.
Yes.
So, and I think we have it on schedule now. You're going to be interviewing her.
I am.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
I am too, because I love working with her. So, okay. So, well, from top models to beauty queens, we actually were very lucky to have Lowry Lockhart, who was actually a beauty queen herself back in the day. Yeah, she was actually in the Miss America pageant. Well, as you saw, she's actually still quite pretty. She's very pretty.
Yes.
Yeah, she is beautiful. Hello, Lowry. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Good, good. So good to finally get you here. I tell you, we've been talking forever, right?
I know. It seems like forever, right?
Well, you know what? While we've got you here, let's just jump right in. For those people out there who don't know, what is the pageant And how and when did you get involved?
Sure. The Miss Wheelchair USA program is a pageant for women with disabilities. And the program started actually about 22 years ago. And we started it in Ohio just as a state program. And for many years, we just did Miss Wheelchair Ohio. And as the program grew, we started having ladies from other states come, and they were like, hey, we want to enter, we want to be part of the program. And they lived in Kentucky and Pennsylvania. I said, well, you know, that would be really strange if you won Miss Wheelchair Ohio and you lived in Indiana. Just really wouldn't work. So we kind of wrestled with that idea for a couple of years, and then decided we would do a national program. So we did one national program and went, oh, okay, we need to stop and rethink this whole thing. So we took a couple years off and really restructured and thought, you know, having 20 women with disabilities coming from all over the country for 10 days, accommodations, medical needs, transportation, all of those things that go with accommodating a group of ladies with disabilities in a strange town that they're not used to, and without their medical supports and things like that, was a lot more than we had really thought about right off the bat. And so we took 2 years back and went, okay, wait a minute, we need to rethink this, and doubled our capacity for volunteers and supports, and then restarted, and we've been going strong ever since.
Wonderful. I think that's great. Now, is it true now? What you at one time also were a beauty queen? What was it, Miss America? What happened?
When I was, that was a really long time ago. We won't talk about how long ago that was, but when I was in college, that was how I actually helped pay for my college education. I participated in the Miss America program, and was very fortunate to win quite a bit of scholarship money. I paid for about 3 years of my college education through the Miss America program. So I did have a background in pageantry from those years in college. And so when I had the opportunity to participate in my professional career, we were developing programs to uniquely talk about individuals with disabilities and their abilities. And in one of our brainstorming sessions, it came up that I had a background in pageantry. And someone said, hey, why don't we do a pageant for ladies with disabilities? And I was like, are you serious? We could do that? That would be so awesome. We don't have a beauty category. There is no beauty scoring. That's not part of what we're talking about. But we do certainly have an evening where ladies like to buy gowns. I don't really know too many women that don't. So, you know, all of that's part of it. You know, Heather, she talked about, you know, her gold sequin gown was a big deal for her. And she wasn't, you know, somebody that was like, oh yeah, I want to have a sparkly gown. But our first Miss Wheelchair USA, when I met her the first time when she was a contestant, she was like, yeah, I just want the crown. Like, who doesn't want a crown, right? So, you know, we do celebrate that part of the program, and you know, that does come from a pageantry background, and it's a cool thing.
Women will be women, and there's nothing wrong with that. Have there ever been any cat fights or any fur flying?
Oh, you know, I'm sure that as the professional executive producer, I should tell you that everyone is professional, and that never happens. But I could probably tell you some stories off camera that just like any competition, hey, everybody wants to win, and we've had a few. We've had a few because hey, it's a crown and it's a prize, and these ladies are here to win. They come prepared. They spend a year working very, very hard to win, and so you know, some people don't necessarily go about it the right way. So we've had a few, but for the most part, we also are very proud of the fact that, hey, these ladies, they call each other pageant sisters, and people go, yeah, that's that hokey pageant thing. But, you know, we've been to each other's weddings and funerals and family things, and laughed and cried together and shared good things and bad things too. So there is a pageant family, and people are very supportive. But hey, these ladies are using this program to promote things that are very important to them, whether it be their education or their platform, and so they're very serious about what they're doing.
So Now, you were lucky enough to have, and we are a very fun set here. Whether we're upstairs, whether we're downstairs,
no matter where we are,
we always are having a good time.
That's right.
Sometimes a little too,
Too much fun.
but at the end of the day, this is what this show is really about.
That's right.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you were very lucky, and we were all lucky, but you were lucky because the upcoming guests, they are good friends of yours.
Yes, 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 they
Okay.
are. They
So tell us a
absolutely
little
are.
bit about Stephanie, and then we'll go on into
Okay,
James.
absolutely. So Stephanie Infante is a great friend of mine. We've known each other since high school. We met one day and I don't know, a resource room or something like that, and we became instant friends, and literally it's been like that for the past 10, 11 years. I'm showing my age here, but that's okay. And so we had a lovely interview with Stephanie. She talked about what adaptive dance means to her. She talks about what inclusive education means to her, and working for a phenomenal organization out in the Bronx called the Bronx Independent Living Service Center, which is a great place. And just sit back and enjoy and stay tuned. Now, everyone, help me welcome our lovely guest, Stephanie Infante from Bronx Independent Living Services. Steph, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. So, Steph, tell us a little bit about yourself. What brings you to Disabilities Redefined?
So I currently work for Bronx Independent Living Services as an employment specialist for people with disabilities. I work with anyone from 14 to 60.
Okay.
And I have cerebral palsy, which probably is one of the reasons why I ended up there. And I am currently also a part of a dance organization called Born Dancing, who works with both able-bodied dancers and dancers with disabilities. So that's why I'm here. I hope.
Oh, awesome! That sounds great. So at Bill's, what do you do with the? Do you call them participants, members? How do they come to you? Yeah, consumers. Okay.
They get referred to us by Access VR.
Okay.
And they come to us because they are either looking for a job or need work readiness. And my whole job is to teach them work readiness, and then after the work readiness course, the course is usually 6 weeks. After that, we guarantee them a 90-hour internship within the community.
Okay.
And we work with anyone from CUNY to the Bronx Zoo, and to little, shops around the area, clothing stores, movie theaters, and stuff like that.
And in terms of your consumers, how do you know what their interests are to then place them out in the community?
So throughout the entire process, the intake process, we ask them numerous questions about their likes and dislikes. Their disability comes into play a lot because if they can't be outside, we have to kind of negotiate something that will have them inside, indoors, or some disabilities, they can't be in cold weather or hot climates, and so we have to figure that out first. And we try our best, 100% try our best to put them in a place that they actually would enjoy and they actually want to see themselves in the future. That is not always guaranteed.
Yeah.
But we try our best. For example, I had a kid who told me, I want to be working for Gucci. And I said, I'm sorry, but I don't know if we can get you Gucci, but we're going to try our best to put you in some sort of retail. And it took us a long time because retail it's a pretty competitive field, believe it or not. And we found a place for him, and it obviously wasn't Gucci, but it was something else. And he's like, okay, I'll take it. But we do get the kid or the student or the parent even who's like, that's not something that he really wants to do. Can we do something else?
Okay.
Believe it or not, the parents are more difficult than the students.
Yeah, I could say for my time as a therapist, I started doing individual therapy groups, but then it became group therapy session groups, then family therapy session groups, so I can completely
you got all of the
understand
rounds.
yes, what you mean.
Yeah. Parents are worse than
could you tell us a little bit about Born Dance and how you got involved in that?
So Born Dancing, I started with them in about 2015. And to be honest, I reached out to a friend months prior, and I asked him. His name is Peter Trojic, or Peter Troj.
How do you know Peter?
Say.
We went
Yes,
to high
we
school
all
with
know
Peter.
He is in the dancing world, and I obviously wanted to get involved in some capacity, and I contacted him months prior to entering Born Dancing. I said, I want to do something. I want to do dance. I want to do something. Is there any way that you can get me in contact with some new people? And he said, there's nothing out right now, but when I figure something else out, I will, put your name in there. And ironically, I broke up with my boyfriend, and I was going through a really, really difficult time, and he swooped in and said, I got you a gig, as they like to say. Yeah. Are you still interested? And I said, absolutely, and that is pretty much how it worked out.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so Steph, could you tell us who runs Born Dance?
So Born Dancing is run by Melissa. Her name is, I can't pronounce her last name.
Okay.
But she was originally a dance teacher that worked for the public school system, and she danced professionally for a very long time. Okay. And one day, and I remember the story very vividly, she told us the story about being on the train station and seeing, I think someone with disability, and she wondered where people with disabilities who danced went, and decided that maybe they didn't have a place to go, and she wanted to give them a place to go, and that is where Born Dancing came from. The slogan is where everybody dances, which is obviously clear because I never danced a day in my life. So, and the fact that I've been in 3 of her shows paints a lot to what she is trying to do.
Thank you, Stephanie.
That's right. Thanks, Steph. Really appreciate you being on.
I do too. I loved her interview. And I was here for that interview, and it was great. We had a great time. Now, James, on the other hand, you were the one calling the shots on that one because I was not able to make it to the studio.
Yes, that's right.
But I really did love the interview. I really got into the interview. Now, he used to, was it a rap artist? He's done all of this stuff.
Yes.
So let's quickly go into his interview.
Right in.
Jump right in. Now, his name is James Futrell.
James Futrell. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this interview his messages are very, very strong. I really did appreciate this interview. So enjoy.
I know for a short time you were dabbling into the online podcast, similarly with advocacy and mind for people with disabilities. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay, well, the podcast, she got me on the spot here. The podcast was called A Juggernaut Show.
Yeah.
And basically, the Juggernaut Show was basically a bunch of, people who have, different, situations. And we try to help each other, figure out, things. We talk about current events. We'll talk about hip-hop news, just different things. And, and the most craziest thing was the after hours, because the after hours was more explicit. People don't think that disabled people have sex lives. And,
right.
It was so amazing to hear certain people say, "Oh, you guys are." Trust me, we're no different.
Right.
So that was one of the blessings about the podcast, was to show people that people with disabilities, can we live the same lives. And I felt like the podcast, it really helped me to branch out to do different things because I had those type of experiences.
Some of the pieces that we touch on the show as well is just disability representation in entertainment, and what your thoughts are about that is a question that I have, because I feel like at times it can be very skewed, and we may not be as equally represented as we could be. What do you think about that?
Well, to be honest with you, I feel the exact same way. I feel like, it's like if you look at the market, there's so many people out here. You have black, white, you know, you have just all these nationalities.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to being disabled, nobody sees them. Or if you do see disabled people, it's somebody that's playing us. It's nobody that's actually disabled. So it kind of defeats the purpose because you're playing something that you don't know nothing about. So like that really disgusts me.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was thinking about, you know, maybe one day us doing like some type of real world or some type of, you know, to reality show because
Yeah.
we go through the same thing that able-bodied people go through.
Yeah.
And to see us on TV, people, you know, they might look at it like it's weird at first, but trust me, after the third, fourth episode, they go through the same nonsense. So
Yeah.
I really thought about that.
Right. I agree with you. Life is really no different.
Yeah.
Like when we might have been teenagers, but I learned that you like had a passion for music, passion for Michael Jackson music. But could you tell us a little bit about like what your role was in music? What did you do with music?
Well, you know, I was a rapper.
Yeah.
You know, because all the stories that I had to go through in life, it just prepared me better to come up with songs and write rhymes. You know, as far as the music thing, you know, went, the only real struggle I had was the fact of it was very time consuming because you know, it was the three of us.
Okay, so you guys were in like a rap group.
That was a group.
Okay.
And the problem was, you know, you would have one person wants to go solo one day, next day he's fine. Then you have one that want to do clothes. Then you have me that want to do music. Nobody was on the same page. And then eventually, you know, kids came into play and stuff like that. So with rap, you know, it wasn't the main focus anymore.
Yeah.
Because
how did you guys, I'm sorry, Jules, I didn't mean to cut you off. How did you guys determine that you wanted to be like in a rap group together?
Well, what happened is, you know, we started off as high school friends, and then,
Okay.
you know, and then we decided to rap, but everybody knew I rapped.
Okay.
So they was like, you know, to get this disabled rapper, somebody that everybody liked, he was like, yo, you know what, I think Joker could do it. And they always would push me to rap, and I'm like, but I was involved in other things. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, I was involved in other things, and, you know, but I always felt the passion for music.
Yeah.
And then I started writing rhymes, and then it started becoming easier and easier. And then I started going to the studio, and before you know it, you know, I'm knocking out an album, knocking out 2 mixtapes. So,
Wow.
so, you know, those things, you know, at that time, Tamara, I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought that rap was gonna be, I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought I was gonna be like as big as Jay-Z.
Wow.
Because I felt that I had that, you know, as far as the look, you know, the overall story, just everything. But, you know, the moment I had kids, I felt like my children was more important. You know, when it comes to black families, I felt like the Jacksons were, you know, when it come to music, I just felt like, you know, they was untouchable. And so, you know, like I was intrigued when I first saw the Jacksons on, you know, on stage, and when they said, "Who's that?" That's Michael. When I first saw him, you know, him take over the stage and he do the spin, the kick, I was like, yo, I love Michael Jackson.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was like, you know, I had everything. Well, I still do have everything of Michael Jackson, but, you know, I felt like he was the biggest inspiration. Because, like, he wasn't just popular as far as music goes.
Yeah.
His fashion, his looks, his philanthropy. So those things, you know, it just always inspired me because he was very giving. He wasn't just the biggest star, period. He was the biggest star because he made himself that way. He was 5 years old, and he took over a group of his brothers at 5 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't have a childhood, and being in foster care and seeing different things, I'm like, you know what, I can relate to him. You know, for me, I live the best of both worlds. You know, I know what it's like to have parents on drugs. You know, I know what it's like to struggle, to have to fight, to be frustrated with life. But the one thing that I did learn in 35 years of life is that you know, as long as you put God first, He'll look out for you. He will definitely have you, because this world is not easy, but we all have the proper tools. He has all blessed us with the tools to get by. It's all about how we apply ourselves and just, you know, put God first. I definitely would say that.
Thank you, James.
Thank
wow,
you,
what a
James.
great guy. I hope we can bring him back.
James would be more than willing to come back. I'm sure he will be.
Well, he's a natural in front of the camera,
Right,
so
he
yeah.
certainly is.
Yes, and I don't know. He spoke about an album and all this stuff. I'm going to try to find some of the stuff that he was doing earlier on. I know he doesn't do it much anymore.
Yes,
but I
not
would
too
love
much,
to
but
see.
I'm sure he has it available.
Yes, absolutely, because I really do appreciate his messages and just the overall passion he has for life. Absolutely, and the appreciation for being a father.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, and he's a great, great dad.
Right. Thank you, guys. We will see you next time on Disabilities Redefined with Dr. Tamara and Dr. Wagner.
Maybe Dr. Tamara soon. Who knows?